ask for that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fifth Down Territory. The boys are back together going into December. And you already know who it is. It's the new dad at Noble. Y'all congratulate Nolan. He's dead now, so he's getting zero sleep. It's at Stadium Rant HQ. Tyler's back. We've been alternating in and out. But our regular, always there at Bahuki, Montana, showing up just like the Bills every season since, I'm not going to say that, but the last few seasons. And I'm back. Happy to be back, guys, at BL Stewart 503. And we're hitting this week harder than Aziz Al-Shaair hit Trevor Lawrence this week, right? We're ready to ground and pound. Week, is it 14, 13?
14.
Right?
It's 14. It's week 14. It's not even cool that it's week 14.
Yeah. And just like the honeymoon phase, guys, it ends too early. Football's winding down. We're going to get into playoffs soon. So, I don't know. It's been a weird year. I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like there's been so many weird occurrences this year. Bryce Young is playing good football after being benched. Anthony Richardson's kind of doing the same thing.
I think that was more on the Patriots' ineptitude than Anthony
Lions
Richardson
are good,
being
the Niners
great.
are not. CMC
I actually
twice, which is a new record, I think. So
I think my biggest surprise is actually kind of like ties into what you said. I'm officially ready to drop my hate for both Bo Nix and Bryce Young.
Mad respect for the young guns. They've been playing out of their minds.
Like watching Bo Nix play that Monday Night Football game, like his mentality literally mirrored Jameis Winston, and you can never have enough of those dudes in the league. Man, somebody who just says fuck it, like throws it down there, like there's this much room to throw it, but they don't care. They're just like, I'm gonna put it in there. Like guys like him, Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, like they just don't care. And I feel like that's the way you need to play quarterback in this league. Like maybe not all the time, but at least you need to take these chances. People are open downfield if you take shots and you give these $30 million receivers chances down the field. And Jameis does that with the best of them. A la Jerry Jeudy getting 235 yards in a revenge game on Sean Payton. Whew, gross.
Better than my touchdown score if I was here last week, because I love a revenge game touchdown scorer.
Yeah, he friolated Levi Wallace on that route. He just cooked him. Like he just was straight faster than him.
I think we haven't adapted to the concept that maybe you need to play your best corner on their best receiver and not let them just use motion mismatches every time they want to take a big shot. I'll never understand, guys.
Dude, it's Sean McVay does it with the best of them. He's like, oh, you're gonna have your dude be on your best corner be on this side. I'm just gonna move my guys to this side and play on that. Like, and you're just like, oh, like what do I do now? But yeah, I and Bryce Young too. Like he was benched. I've never been really big on Bryce Young. You guys know this. We've played clips about it in the past. Kid's making some really nice throws.
He's playing how he was meant to play.
Yeah, I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is stable that he could do this like all the time, but right now he's playing some really good football, and I have to acknowledge that, or I'm just a straight up hater, and like I don't do that. So,
what do you got? What was your biggest surprise of the week?
I had that Pittsburgh is continuing to kind of find their offense. I know at first without Russell Wilson they were very one-dimensional, and that was very, very clear, but they continued to find ways to win being one-dimensional. Now Russ has come in and he just threw for the second most yards in his career in a game, and so he is absolutely lighting it up right now. What's up, Bernard? But he's lighting it up and he's doing everything right, and this offense just looks three-dimensional. They've got many ways to beat you now. The run game is starting to get there. Najee Harris is really having a kind of a revival here late. So I'm just surprised that Pittsburgh is continuing it seems like, to find new ways to improve their offense, and that's just making them an even scarier team down the stretch here. Because I mean, they could be a legitimate threat in the AFC if they can put it together.
Mason says, downfall of the Niners is upon us, and I am now sad.
Yeah,
I think only
I
Niners
could care
fans,
less about the
Smoking that Niners pack in Buffalo.
but I will
no.
I will say this happens like every fourth year.
Yeah. This is
They get
like
riddled with
a thing
injuries.
that
They
happens.
get a stupid high pick. When we're like, how did this guy fall to the Niners? They restructure a bunch of contracts. They're good again next year. Rinse, repeat. So
Yeah,
this
I think
regression.
Debo's done there too. Like, I think Debo's done there. I think they might cut him at the
You
end of
been
the
playing
year.
this year? I didn't know.
No, I mean, he's been playing, but like, just
Cardio king.
I just don't think like they can afford that. Like, I mean, you know, they have to start cutting corners somewhere. With
I don't
these
know that
pay
anybody
cuts.
can afford to pay somebody who doesn't separate that much money. But
Yeah,
Bahuki, what was your biggest surprise of the team of the week?
The way the Dolphins keep talking when they find themselves in these games. Tua came out and said that he's ready to change some narratives. He didn't. And not that he played terrible. I mean, he's just Captain Checkdown, and I don't know. They just keep it goes back to the game a couple of years ago where the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel wore the "I wish it were colder" shirt. This mentality, be humble, guys. You guys have not proven a damn thing in this league yet, any of you.
I will say this.
I'll give Tyreek has proven a couple things, but not lately, not this year.
I'll say this real quick on that Dolphins point. I saw somebody say that one of the players, an unnamed player, was like, Mike McDaniels was out there shivering and standing next to the space heater all day, the whole time in the locker room, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And I don't know, he's like, this is supposed to be our leader. Homie's out here quit. I don't know, that might have.
I want to see him use his nipples to etch the next play into the back of the clipboard. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy you're looking at, and for all the hype that he got in his first couple of years there, he has not been any better than Brian Flores. Maybe he's better with the media, and he gives good stuff for TikTok, but that's where it ends.
Your team takes your head coach's mentality, personality into its that's who it is. It's DNA, and I don't know. He might be very smart. His offense is really fun, but homie's soft.
They're fragile.
So.
They're very fragile. They're the definition of a paper
That's
tiger.
why the Cowboys are fat and slow.
Yes.
They're them and the Cowboys are mirror images of each other in my eyes. They're the two most predictable teams.
20 years
moving
apart.
on, trying to go quicker here.
So I'm going to go biggest surprise too, and then we'll run overreaction, certified sick, all that stuff together. But I guess my biggest surprise is I think the Brown system might actually work. The offensive system might actually be good. I've been watching them the last couple of weeks, with Flacco, and I mean, I think we all know Watson's the problem, but to this extent is surprising to me. I didn't think Stefanski was that good of a coach, and I think he might be. I think he might be pretty good.
I've loved Kevin Stefanski. I've always said Deshaun Watson's the problem. If Joe Flacco can walk off the couch and produce better in that offense, you're the problem. You're the issue. Joe Flacco is completely immobile. Homie's making 1-2 reads, and that if your offensive line's halfway decent, he's going to play well. You have Jameson there now who has a cannon, and he's we talked about, he's a gunslinger. He really doesn't care who's where. If he sees a spot where he thinks he can throw it, he's gonna throw it. And I don't know, this team has a good enough defense to handle mistakes if they're getting that level of offensive firepower. You know? So
minus the turnovers.
Yeah, it's James Winston. He's going to turn it over eventually.
Yeah, I'm gonna run my overreaction. I think people are overreacting to kind of flash in the pan stuff. I don't know how to get super specific with this, but the Colts' recent success, I don't feel like is unwarranted, but people are hyping him up now. And I'm like, everything always comes back to average, right? That's just the laws of the universe. And so a lot of receiver drops, a lot of bad play or missed opportunities eventually always comes back the other way. It always balances. And so I think we're seeing a lot of teams heat up kind of at the right time because you're seeing these mistakes worked out. But don't get it twisted. There's still good teams and bad teams in this league, and bad teams ain't good teams now. They're just better than they were. I think the people are overreacting to a little bit of recency bias. My underreaction is what's happening in Cincinnati. I saw somebody else had this. I'm doing a different take on it. Is Jamar Chase going to be here next year? I mean, I know everybody wants to say he will be because that's where Joe is. But I mean, he's a hard player to have when you're establishing culture. I think he's a very outspoken player, and he's earned the right to do that. But I mean, the way he's talking about Zach Taylor right now, I just can't imagine that relationship is going to end well. And if Zach doesn't, I don't think Chase resigns, and I think that causes a lot of problems in that organization.
I'd fire Zach Taylor in an instant. It wouldn't even be like I'd start laughing if you handed me those two questions. Be like, do I just need to find another dude with tight pants? Like, I'll go do that. I'll figure it out. Homie's not doing anything special.
Abercrombie and grab somebody.
Yeah, I'll go do that job for him. He as long as I have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, I'll figure it out. That T. Higgins should be gone. They should sign Jamar Chase, and then they should just go draft Tatoria McMillan out of Arizona. You replace T. Higgins with that kid. There you go.
Your defense still sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not changing anytime soon because they're not going to spend more money after they bring up the Brinks truck for Jamar. They already paid Burrow. They're not paying their defense. They're the Bengals.
All right. Anyway, Bahuki, I think you got into your overreaction.
Yeah, I wanted to correct myself on that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. So you gave the overreaction, which is the Dolphins. Do your under and then do your surprise.
And then circle back. Yeah. So my overreaction I did as my surprise. My underreaction here is how bad Kirk Cousins has been playing lately. And a couple of weeks ago, the Falcons pretty much had this division locked up. And they do not seem like they are intent on winning it. And looking at the schedules for both the Bucs and the Falcons coming up, the Falcons' schedule to finish is tougher starting this week. Michael and if this flounders and they do miss the playoffs, the Michael Penix era could be starting sooner than we might realize. Yeah. Circling back to my biggest surprise, kind of is actually a decent segue off of this one, is the Vikings and how resilient of a team they have had, and the fact that I keep doubting them myself in some of these big spots. That was a really, really impressive fourth quarter dub that they pulled off. And for as good as the Lions have been, that division is still wide open.
And I think it's a speaking thing. We're going to get into this later. But coaches that back their players, I think, have better success almost always. And the fact that Kevin O'Connell is willing to ride or die with Sam Darnold because he knows Sam needs the confidence that 2 bad drives is not going to pull me out of the game, which is what he's had the last couple years. He had a really rough first half. He had a really good second half. But you never would have got half 2 if you weren't willing to put him back in after half 1.
I think that system just really, really works, man. It's one of those systems where it seems really easy for the quarterback to pick up. And that they're just filled to the top with weapons. Their offensive line's at least decent. I mean, I know it's a little banged up right now. And Brian Flores has that defense absolutely cooking. The problem was with the Vikings was always their cornerbacks are just going to get shredded. Their secondary is going to get beat, and they're not going to be able to handle it later. And that's kind of gotten hidden with the amount that they blitz and how they kind of dial things up and the way he calls games. I can jump into mine now if that's cool. Yeah, go for it. My overreaction is that the Chiefs keep finding ways to win. They're actually the luckiest team in the NFL this year. They're They have 3.21 wins above their projected win-loss total based on their matchups and like what they're doing in these games. They're 11-1. Really, they should be 8-4, something like that, 8-5.
So I would like to say one thing about that.
Yeah, go for it.
If we can talk on this. Anybody who watched that game on Black Friday, like if you guys are anything like me, I was literally screaming, please don't snap this ball. You're in field goal range. You have no reason to test fate. Just kick the field goal and win. Instead, with no timeouts and Aiden O'Connell and a rookie center, we're going to snap this thing for maybe 4 yards.
Don't worry, guys.
Because our offensive line is played like buns, and then we'll have no time to kick a field goal. The whole sequence didn't make any sense. And like, I agree, the Chiefs are a very lucky team, but the Raiders did not deserve to win that game because they did not try to win that game.
No, I would definitely agree with that. And I'm also not trying to take anything away from how talented and how proven the Chiefs are. They're a really good football team too. They're not just lucky, but the Patriots have taken that horseshoe right out of like their rear end that was up there for the entirety of my life, and they've handed it to the Chiefs. And these guys they're blocking field goals at the end of games to win. People are muffing snaps to not be able to kick the field goal to win. It's just things are happening that you're just like, that doesn't happen.
And it won't happen in playoffs. But the truth of the matter is, they may play better in playoffs. They always play better in playoffs.
That's true. It's very true. I'm just saying, like, everybody, like, the overreaction to me is people are framing this like, oh, they just found a way to win. It's like, no, the other team found a way to lose. I feel like, at least in the past couple of weeks, like the Broncos get like the block kick with the Broncos, like this game with the Raiders. I feel like their divisional games have been really close too, like as well. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people were saying that, and of course the Pats had similar things, but just they're lucky, and that's okay to be. Like, you need a little bit of that. But I'm just saying, like, that
sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
That's very true as well. My underreaction is tied to the Patriots. It's just how important job security is to decision making on the sidelines. Shane Steichen is clearly a coach who is coaching for his job. He is. You see him on the sidelines. He is extremely active. He's talking to everybody. He's screaming clock management, whole bunch of like everything. They score that touchdown after, again, a 19-play, 80-yard drive orchestrated by Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson did that. Okay, that's ridiculous that I even said that sentence. He's never done that in his life, I bet.
He did it then.
He definitely did it then. He did then. They scored.
We all bear witness.
I saw it. I was pissed. They scored, and I was like, all right, at least they're going to kick the field goal. Steichen was like, nah, send those boys out. He had confidence in his team. He was coaching for his job, so he was being aggressive. As opposed to the other side of the field where Gerard Mayo literally knows he can't get fired. He's not getting fired. Like, the man knows it. And he's coaching like it because he's coaching to not look bad rather than coaching to win these fucking football games. And I think that is really important. If a coach knows he's safe and knows he's secure and like they're having a bad season, he might just coach to look a little bit better than to rather try and win these games. And if you kind of switch that coaching method, I feel like the Patriots would have at least 2 to 3 more wins and be in the hunt, in the conversation. I'm not saying they're a good team, but they should at least be playing games that still matter right now, and they're not. So I just feel like that is the difference because Mayo literally knows I'm their goal. I'm the guy. Like, they picked me. I'm not going anywhere right now. So like, whatever.
What about you, Noel? What's your over under for the week?
My overreaction, and this is just kind of looking at schedules, and I had the Eagles winning out. I know that there's talks that it's possible that they could end up being a 14-win team. They do have a matchup with Pittsburgh left and the Commanders. So, I mean, just maybe, I guess, pumping the brakes on talking about them winning out. They're on a good win streak. They're playing great. They looked solid against Baltimore. To go on the road and win that game is huge for their resume and just for their team overall. But overreaction was just that they could win out. I would hesitate on it until maybe if they can beat Pittsburgh before they beat Washington, then I think they kind of set themselves up for a solid finish. My underreaction, this goes right with what you said, Louis. Zach Taylor could very well be fired. I mean, honestly, with how it's setting up, this is like one of the most ultimate meltdowns of a team that 2 to 3 years ago, you were like, all right, they're going to be perennial Super Bowl threats. They're going to challenge in the AFC every year. And they made it to the Super Bowl, and they're just meltdown city right now. And
I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
Does Bill Belichick go coach the Bengals next year?
I've heard that.
I hope he goes and coaches the Jags.
Dude, if he goes to the Bengals and they bring a competent offense, like if like him, McDaniels, and I hate Matt Patricia, but Patricia with Bill, with those players, I don't know. I think that like you're getting a very dangerous team again. Because like the offense is pretty much turnkey. Bill doesn't have to build an offense; he has an offense. But yeah, so that would be kind of scary.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Zach Taylor could be done. It could happen very, very quickly. It just depends if they want to take that step. If they think this is kind of the final straw of a window closing with him as their coach.
Dude, if he pulls an ultimatum on them, he's going to be sorry. Sorry. Okay. So now we get into the next segment, which is
Certified Sicko of the Week.
Yeah, it's Certified Sicko of the Week. And I'll start real quick. Jerry Jeudy, we kind of talked about this a little earlier. He just broke the NFL record for most receiving yards, or I'm pretty sure total yards against a former team. Beat Terrell Owens' 213 yards against the 49ers. I believe, no, against Dallas with the 49ers. It's one of those combinations of things. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, man, like they finally have him not doing like short slot type routes. They're just aligning him close to the line of scrimmage and having him run like deeper, like long developing routes, which he is just burning people on now. And I think like he's finally doing the things that he should have been doing this whole time and looking like the player that we kind of thought that he could be. Obviously, it's just one game, but he's played pretty well this whole season. And like that, like that's like your cherry on top game of the season for him. So.
I'm thinking Brock Bowers. I know he was on the losing end, but that kid plays football. Enough said.
Yeah.
Dude is balling, and I think the offensive rookie of the year conversation runs through Bowers.
I wish Jaden Daniels and Bro Nix are gonna win that, but like he should be right there. Nolan, you want to go next?
Yeah. Bahuki will like this one. I actually had Josh Allen. I mean, fourth player in NFL history to have a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown in the same game. Two of them came on the same play. So it just crazy. I mean, this guy is MVP level in every game. He's balling out right now. He's having a heck of a season. And I know all of us were kind of like, all right, all this snow, San Fran screwed. Well, Buffalo's still got to find a way to put points up on the board and play well. And they looked like there was no snow there. They were having fun. They were balling out. So Josh Allen's my sicko of the week.
Blake, you're right on your Ray Davis take, by the way. He did get a lot more run in that game, and he looked pretty good. Looked like a winter football time player, you know? That dude, you're not really trying to tackle in the cold.
I also want to say he deserves certified sicko of the week for passing and receiving a touchdown on the same play. I don't think, y'all correct me if I'm wrong on this, I don't think we've seen that since Marcus Mariota caught his own pass. And I don't know that it counted as a throw and a reception.
We've never seen a play like that happen before in our lives because it just like it wasn't like a defensive play to stop. Like it wasn't like a deflection or something like that. It was just like a hook and ladder, like a inadvertent weird hook and ladder where like he was like, we locked
Yeah,
eyes.
the hook and ladder with the
But I'll take it.
Like, yeah,
I
I'm
won,
just
I
giving
won
him the ball.
2 fantasy leagues by less than 3 points because of that play.
That's
And I know
insane.
those guys are pissed. Because if it was a rushing touchdown, I wouldn't have won. But he got the passing and the receiving touchdown. So we ride.
Game of inches.
I love it.
Yeah, so I have the other MVP favorite as my certified sicko of the week. I think it's Saquon Barkley, man. We can't stop talking about this guy. Like his name is him and Josh, I think, have probably been the guys who have been in this certified sicko segment the most this year. And they both made an argument for it this year. And yeah, if it wasn't Saquon's 225 yards, 255 yards against the Rams. He had this 100 plus yards against this Ravens defense, which they're on their back end. They've been a little bit questionable, but their front end's pretty solid. And with that big touchdown at the end, he's on pace to break Eric Dickerson's single season rushing record. If he averages 100.2 yards on the ground through the next 5 games, he will eclipse Eric Dickerson's record. It's 2105 is the record. Adrian Peterson got pretty close to it in 2012.
Didn't Derrick Henry come close to it in 2019, 2018?
Derrick Henry's best season is 2020 with 2027.
I'm always interested to see where these guys are at the second to last game of the season because of like the differences in how many games everybody played. Like we have more games now, so I'm always interested to see like where they're at when like they would have stopped before. But
we'll see if the Eagles win out or don't win out. Could that mean that Saquon gets rested and that's the reason that he doesn't break it? Possibly. But I think we're looking at a 2-horse race here for the MVP with him and Josh. I personally am hoping Saquon gets it because very seldom does the guy who wins MVP also win the Super Bowl. And Super Bowl MVP is the one that I care about personally.
Maybe we see him versus Josh in the Super Bowl.
It's possible. I think
crazy.
the four teams everyone's kind of looking at right now are Bills, Chiefs on the AFC side, and Eagles, Lions on the NFC side. That's still subject to change. There's a couple teams that are lurking as well, but I feel pretty confident that's going to be our final 4.
Word, we ready for our next segment? Then we get into our game picks.
This is gonna take a minute, but yeah, do it, and then we'll run game picks faster. Y'all know I got.
I had an accident.
You had an accident? What does that mean?
Go!
Pissy Pants Player of the Week.
Yeah, so it's Al Shair, or it's Aziz Al Shair. We kind of talked about this pre-show. When you're on the field, obviously, I doubt that you really like know that he is fully giving himself up at the moment. But like when you get the slow-mo replay and your forearm is straight up in his chin, that's tough. I don't necessarily think he meant to do it, but like he did it and that sucks. And then he like the whole fight after that, it was just
made it worse.
Big whole debacle. Feel really bad for Trevor Lawrence. He had just gotten back out there. And like I feel bad for Shair too, because people were throwing beer cans and shit at him. That's not what you want to do. Then you're the bad guy. Like that it's just don't do that shit. He didn't mean to hurt him. Like you meant to hurt Shair with that beer can. Like that's what you meant to do if you were the one who threw it. He didn't mean to physically harm Trevor Lawrence. He was trying to stop him on a play. And yeah, did he do it a little late? Yes. Do we kind of know these rules by now? Yeah. That is a 3-game suspension a little much? Yes. I would probably hopefully appeal it. Maybe get it down to like 1. Take a game. I think that's fair for both sides. Like, but that's my take on it. So
there's been a lot of discourse about this on the internet, and I'd like to start out by saying, as a Texans fan, well wishes to Trevor. I think the league's better with him in it. I do think Aziz deserved a suspension for the way things unfolded. most notably the fighting after, I think is a big part of how that decision should come. And his instigating again twice after. But I do want to say, like, we have to at some point have discourse. There have been some old defensive players talking about this, but like, there's no penalty. And I think this is the solution personally. I think there should be a penalty on quarterbacks if they don't go down when they act like they're going to go down, right? Mahomes does this a good bit. Caleb Williams has been doing it a lot this season.
Yeah, they're manipulating the rule to keep them safe to get to.
And I'm not
to get
saying
extra
Trevor
yardage.
did this. If
No.
you watch him replay, it kind of looks like he almost takes like a gather step where he starts sliding, but he keeps running. I don't think he's super egregious.
I think he was just hesitant to take. He was like, I might be able to get the yardage. I'm not sure yet. Like,
I think the biggest thing though is like, as a defender, if they just fake you out and keep running, you're going to give up the first down. You're going to give up the big play. So if we take that away by saying if they fake slide or fake whatever and keep going, act like they're going to go out and then tiptoe the sideline to get out of a hit, then that's going to be a penalty. That's going to bring them back. And then that's not on the defender anymore. And I think we have to find a way to move all of the burden off of defense to protect these quarterbacks, make them protect themselves. That's where the conversation really comes in.
I love that. I love that a lot. I think that defense has been hampered by a lot of rule changes in this era of football, and I don't really agree with a lot of it. Like the thing that makes me the most mad is the substitution thing. It's like if you substitute your people, you have to give the defense time to bring in subs. No, you should run an organized operation that can get their subs out fast enough when you realize the package is switched. Like, I shouldn't have to wait and use a timeout in some cases because the ref is standing in front of you going, nope, you can't snap the ball even though all your guys are ready. Like, that, what is that? I hate that personally. Like, I know that's not defensive. Like, that's just a rule that I personally don't like. I think that hampers your coach. Like, that's a coaching thing. You should have that ready, you know?
I'm also going to say, like, I don't think a greater emphasis, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I don't think a greater emphasis should be put on quarterback safety than any offensive player safety. And what I mean by that is Brian Branch took a pretty egregious headshot on a dude earlier this season and got ejected for it. And he received no suspension for that game. So if we care about player safety, I think you have to enforce it. I don't think it matters if it's a quarterback. If we're going to say, like, this is the rule, then it needs to be the rule. And the player, right, the position value on offense shouldn't matter if we care about player safety.
I agree.
It should be a non-starter. It doesn't matter if it's a quarterback. It doesn't matter if it's a running back. And I think it's kind of a dirty shot by Aziz. Not a big fan of the forearm shiver. It's an old school move used to lay the boom, and it looked to me like he was trying to hit him in his hurt shoulder, which I think is kind of a jerk move anyway, if I'm being honest. But it shouldn't matter if it's a quarterback or a receiver or whatever. If we're trying to protect guys, if it's an ejection-worthy hit, it should be a suspension-worthy if that's the direction we're going with it. And I agree. 3 games is ridiculous.
Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
Honestly, Louis summed it up pretty well. There's not really much else to put to it. There's a simple process. The NFL is just going to have to really evaluate kind of where their cutoff line is now, because this is one of those plays where, I don't think 3 games was necessary. That's a lot. I was very, very surprised to see he got 3 games. 1 game, maybe I was like, all right, they're talking about how they want to. This is a making an example type suspension, where they're trying to say, all right, we are trying to cut down on plays like this. Here's our poster child for 3 games. Don't do it again. Wag of the finger type thing. So
I just think what we're all looking for is consistency, man. It's just referee consistency on this play, on all types of plays. I just think there's too much leeway in our rule set right now. Like, everybody's arguing about what is a catch. There's no consistent rule base or there is, but everything is up to the referee team, like whatever crew that is. Like, if that crew just has a tendency to do something, that's what they do, and like that might not be the right case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good point to move into our game picks, though. Bahuki, I think you didn't have anything to say on that.
We just want consistency, man.
I just want to make sure.
I didn't say anything. But I think it's just the lack of consistency.
Yeah,
to
I get
keep it
that.
quick.
All right, let's get into our game picks. We got the Packers at Detroit Thursday Night Football. Detroit
Good
is
Thursday
favored. Yeah, really good Thursday game. Detroit's favored by 3.5. The primetime games have been up, I feel like, this year. In a weird year, weird games have been in primetime, but they've been strangely good. If that makes sense. So hopefully this one continues that trend. That's just another solid primetime game. I have Detroit winning, Detroit covering here. Detroit's a team, when they win, they smash. So like if you're gonna take Detroit to win, you might as well just take them to cover because they don't play that. They don't play that action. Jahmyr Gibbs, I feel like he is just kind of turning into a mega star. This kid's super special. He's got git that's just like you just can't teach it. And this offensive line's awesome. Play calling is great. He's gonna go off. St. Brown's gonna score a touchdown because he's playing Green Bay, man. He loves these divisional games. He loves shit talking. So he's gonna come right to play. Louis, why don't you go next?
I'm taking the Packers here to win and cover, obviously, because they're winning. I just think divisional games are always tough. Like, look at the Raiders Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, something about playing in division is just always closer than it should be. And I think this is no exception. I think the Lions need a bit of motivation before they go into their final stretch, and I think they find it by losing this game. I think they're kind of coasting right now. I think a lot of the cutesy plays, the Panay Sewell runarounds that never do anything. Like, I think they're playing with their food a little too much. I think they lose a meal here, and it keeps them hungry to go into playoffs. I've got Jaden Reed having a big game. I think he's due. He had 2 touchdowns last week, but he had 3 receptions for like 19 yards. I expect to see a 100-plus yard game from Jaden Reed on this one.
Yeah.
And Gibbs
love that. Buki, how about you hit it next, bud?
Yeah, I went Detroit here. This is a heck of a game. This is a semi-hopeful pick because Buffalo plays them the following week, and I would much rather prefer them off of a win than off of a loss.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And this one can go either way. You can make a good argument for both sides, but I feel really good about Detroit right now. I mean, they're the team that I probably feel the best about in the NFL, and minus my own team because I'm a little bit biased. I'm probably even going to pick them against just about anyone, at least right now. I like what you said about Amon-Ra. I have him as my stud of the game. And I went with Jameson Williams for my anytime touchdown score because I need him in this last week of fantasy.
I need him.
At least I'm honest.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I hope you do get in. Nolan, how about you rip it, buddy?
Yeah, and then I'll swing us into Falcons Vikings.
Sure.
I went Detroit everything here, mainly because this version of this matchup last year came on Thanksgiving, and Green Bay absolutely smacked Detroit. They came in, they punched them in the mouth, and that was kind of a big wake-up call for Detroit late in the season in the divisional race. Flip it now to this year. I think Detroit wants to take a firm grip on this division, and this is how you do it right here. I know Minnesota is right there as well, but beating Green Bay, I think, has to be step one here late. So get that win over Green Bay, and I think they're going to do it here. Jared Goff for my stud, and then I have Gibbs as my anytime. He's really becoming just as big of a red zone threat as Montgomery has been all year long. So I think they ride that out and continue it. Falcons, Vikings. Speaking of the Vikings, I'm taking the Vikings to win here at home, but I am going to take the Falcons to cover. I think 5.5 is a little steep. Maybe Falcons are playing a little pissed off after last week. I'm going to take Aaron Jones for my stud. I think they could get the run game going here against Atlanta and really use him quite a bit. And then I got Hawkinson for my anytime. They need to get him into the end zone He had a quiet week this week after balling out the week before. Get him in the end zone.
Word Buki hit.
Yeah, I got to go with the Vikings after the soliloquy about how resilient they are I gave earlier.
This is where they let you down, though.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, and the Falcons have just been so unimpressive, and like this very well could be a good game here. And I don't hate the pick to have the Falcons cover the spread. However, I went with Vikings covering the spread. I feel like these teams are trending in two different directions, and this could really be an opportunity for the Vikings at home to like stomp their foot on the ground and say we're here, especially if depending what happens on this Thursday night game. So yeah, I'm taking the Vikings here at home, and I'm going with Jay Jetta as my stud of the game, and I'm going to go with Jordan Addison as my anytime touchdown scorer.
Word up, Louis, hit it up.
I'm going to take the Vikings to win and sweep here, the spread, because I just think Kirk is going to get put in a blender against this. He doesn't play well against eclectic defenses. If you look back at his history, that's usually where he gets got, is he thinks he knows what's happening and he doesn't. So when they drop pressure, he's not a good processor adapter. I think he has a really, really rough game here. I'm taking TJ Hockenstein as my player of the game. I think this is one of his 80, 90-yard performances. Their safety duo tends to play up a little bit. I think they'll run him almost like a slot receiver. So I think he has a really good game. And then Drake London is my anytime touchdown scorer in garbage time.
Yeah, I like that. I have the Vikings to win. I do think that this game's going to be a little closer. I feel like the Vikings and the Cardinals were two teams that were trending in different directions a little bit there for a moment, and they gave them almost everything that they could handle. I like Sam Darnold. Like we said, this offense and has every weapon in the book and a great scheme. So like, why isn't their offense like feel like it's hitting its full potential? Like I don't know. I just think the Falcons have a decent defense. It's one of those games that like I just feel like Kirk Cousins had a really bad week last week, so this week he might bounce back. I don't think that's what we get from Kirk every single week. I think like he's a very up and down type of player as well. But I think that the Vikings win. I think JJ has a massive part in it. He's been kind of held down a little bit. He hasn't really had like a huge game in a while, so you just can't keep a guy like that down for that long. And Bijan is my touchdown scorer. He's quietly getting like the Christian McCaffrey usage, and that like everybody wanted. It's just this offense just doesn't look like it continues to look like it should look so much better. Like all of these pieces, like this offense should be clicking all the time. It's just not, and that's why I don't have them winning this game. I really thought that they're going to be able to beat the Chargers, like coming off the bye after the Chargers play on a short week and without J.K. Dobbins, and they weren't able to do that. So,
roll us into Panthers-Eagles.
Word. I think the Eagles win this game. But like we talked about earlier, Bryce Young has played really, really good football as of late, and if you have the quarterback playing well, 12 points is just way too many for a team who has a quarterback who's playing well. I think the Panthers have a pretty good interior offensive line as well. I know that's where the Eagles win a lot on their defense with Jalen Carter and what's it called? Whatever his name is. The other guy, Jordan Davis, both Georgia guys. I do have Jalen Carter as my player of the game, which is why I think the Eagles are going to win. But Adam Thielen is my touchdown scorer. I think he scores one late to kind of backdoor this 12 points and lose by like a touchdown. Why don't you take it next, Louis?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles to win and the Panthers to cover. I agree. I think the Panthers are playing too well for a 12-point spread. I think they've earned the benefit here to not think they're going to get blown out. They've kept close games against good teams. I think that continues here. I've got A.J. Brown as my player of the game. I think he's a little due for one, and I just don't think Jace Horn is going to be able to cover AJ if he's even playing this week. I saw some injury concerns maybe, but and then I think Devonta Smith's going to get in the end zone. I couldn't tell you who the Panthers cornerback 2 is. I pride myself on knowing dudes in the NFL, but I don't know a lot of players on this defense. So
Dante Jackson, maybe.
I'm going to take Devonta Smith in that matchup. I think he catches like a long bomb for a touchdown.
I think that's pretty smart as well. Nolan, go for it, buddy. Or I'm sorry, Bahuki.
Yeah, pretty much same page here. Liking the Eagles to win, but 12 points against this Panthers team seems like a lot for any team. Honestly, they're playing tough ball. They're still a couple years away, I think, but they're at least starting to trend in a better direction than what we've seen. But yeah, I'm going with the same combo that I've gone with a lot of Eagles games, and it has been right for a lot of Eagles games with Saquon as the stud of the game and Jalen Hurts to get a tush push into the end zone.
That's why my fantasy team is doing so well. I have both of them.
Yes, it is a pretty lethal combo.
AJ Brown's there too, but it's okay. We don't really mind him anymore. Nolan, go for it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to double up on Eagles here. I know I kind of viewed this game as when the Chiefs played the Panthers. There's this view that, the Chiefs can blow out the Panthers. They should easily win by a ton. And then it came down to a field goal game. I think the Eagles are not going to play around with their food at the dinner table here, and I have them taking that 12. I could see them getting this game done by half and letting their defense kind of play cruise ball. And then I doubled up on Saquon as well. I mean, with how on pace he is for Dickerson, why wouldn't you try to feed him? Obviously, I know you want to try to ease it up and keep him healthy for a playoff run. But if this is going to be a game where you think you can produce and maybe try to pad some stats, I guess, then why not double up on Saquon?
Homie's just in the zone.
Exactly. Why not double up on it?
The first touch, the first 70-yard touchdown against the Rams was just a work of art. He just navigated that and cut out. You're just like, dude, how do you even see that hole develop like that?
Yep.
But lead us into Brown Steelers.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting one. Divisional games are weird, man. And with how the Browns just played against the Broncos, maybe it's a lot closer than we think. I'm going to take the Steelers to win, though. But Browns to cover. I think 6.5 is a big spread for this game, and the Browns are going to hang around, try to play spoiler ball. So I'm going to take Russell Wilson, though, for my stud. The dude is balling out. I talked about him earlier in the show. Second most passing yards in a single game in his career.
Mr. Unlimited.
Insane. And then I'm going to go Najee Harris for anytime. They're making him a red zone threat again, and I like him for my anytime.
Make Najee great again.
I was just about to say that. You were
Got
took a red zone off.
Yes. Go for it, Bahuki.
When did this start happening? I was gone for 2 weeks, and now we have a thing.
It happened. It happened after Baker Mayfield got helicoptered into the end zone against the Giants. And he started doing that when he played DeVito with Tommy DeVito. He's just like, it's like, how Tommy pissed you off? He's catching strays over there. But yeah, Brown Steelers. We've done a good job staying on track. Let's continue that.
So yeah, I got the Steelers here. I'm going with the Steelers to cover here.
Okay.
They lost the first matchup, and I don't anticipate them losing the second matchup. And their offense is really clicking on all cylinders here. And this Browns team has been playing better, but I feel like the way they lost that game had to be pretty demoralizing. And when you played that well. To then get up and go do it again on a short week for them too. I think this is a good spot for the Steelers to start to really cement themselves as a playoff threat. And so yeah, I got the Steelers winning comfortably here. I liked what you said about Najee Harris. I've been I have some Jalen Warren stocks, and he's been improving a little bit, but Najee has just been really consistent, and he's been catching balls too, and not only running the ball effectively, but he's also been a good pass catcher, which is not great news for Jalen Warren owners. And Pat Fryermuth is my anytime touchdown scorer. This guy's one of my favorite tight ends in the NFL. I swear. Ooh, come on, it's so cool when they do that. It really is.
You want to know who he reminds me of? Like, I don't even know if play style is really true, but like he reminds me of like Dallas Clark, like just a dude you never ever. I've never heard Dallas Clark speak. I don't think I've ever heard Pat Fryermuth speak. But like that dude goes out on the football field, does his job, and then goes home and just has a great.
And everyone remembers what they did that day.
Yeah, exactly. Move like that. That is very sick. Yeah. So I'll take it real quick, and then Louis, you can go and lead us in the Jags Titans. I'm taking the Steelers to win here because I agree with you, Bahuki. I thought the point of them losing both divisional matchups like this close together. That I just don't think that's happening for Mike Tomlin coach team. I am taking the Browns plus 6.5 though. Just these games are so weird, man. You were talking about like did that being demoralized? Like Jameis Winston already forgot about that because he's on his next greatest day on the planet. Because that's how that man lives his life. Like that was the play. Like it happened, whatever. I'm gonna go throw 60 more passes the next game.
He's praying. He is praying for the Lord to deliver him from pick sixes.
Dude, that guy is just a motivational quote away from ruling the world. So, Browns plus 6.5, Steelers money line though. TJ Watt is going to make his day not fun. I can tell you that. And George Pickens can score a touchdown because
he's played very well lately.
He's a really good wide receiver, and he finally has a quarterback who can like do the thing that like he does. Like they just pair up really, really well. I just love the connection there. Louis, you can go.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game. I think they're mad about how the last time around went, and so I think they're going to have a different outlook on this game. Not a snow game, I don't think. So we'll see, but I don't think it's going to be.
It is Cleveland. Weather's probably going to be shit.
I'm going to take Jerry Jeudy as my player of the game. I don't know how you don't after the game he had last week. I just think he's turning into a really good player. And then Jalen Warren's my anytime touchdown scorer. If you want the long shot, Van Jefferson is my long shot touchdown scorer.
Ooh, Calvin. I like Calvin Austin too there. They use him on some weird routes.
Moving into Jags at Titans. Both these teams suck. I don't know. I'm going Titans, I guess. I just don't think the Jags team is going to have a whole lot of success against this run. But two, I just think they're a well-coached defense. I think Will Levis has been airing it out pretty nice. And if that Calvin Ridley deep ball connection is there, I think that's lights out for the Jag. They're just not going to be able to keep up with that kind of production. So I'm going to take the Titans to win and cover. Tony Pollard is my player of the game, and Brian Thomas Jr. is my anytime touchdown scorer. He's balling.
Very good receiver. Dude, I knew he was going to be nasty at football.
Good at football.
Very good. Football guy, some may say. I have the Titans winning this game, but giving them 3.5 points is just somebody smoking crack over there. Whoever's setting the line, it's way too many points to give this team. They're playing the Jags. Mac Jones probably going to start, so yuck. But what's more Mac Jones like than to lose to the Titans by 3 points? So give me Travis Etienne as the player of the game. I feel like he's had a shit season, and maybe this is one of those games where you're like, okay, he kind of redeemed himself. This is like the trap game for him to get you to buy in again next year. And you're like, oh, he had a couple good games down the stretch, and he might be cooked. And then he might be cooked. I have not seen the same Travis Etienne as last year, not even close. And then Tony Pollard's my time touchdown scorer. The yardage totals won't really wow you, but Tony Pollard's been probably a top 12 running back this season. He's been really, really good for the Titans, and I clowned that pickup for them. I was like, oh, you're gonna get rid of Derrick Henry and sign Tony Pollard? You guys are idiots. And he's played very well for them. So Yeah, maybe I'm the idiot. Go for it, Nolan.
I'm actually doubling up on Titans here because why not? I don't know.
Just like a dartboard, just throw the dart, whichever one it lands on. Yeah, sure, take them, whatever.
Sure, I guess. And then I'll double up on Calvin Ridley. I think, Louis, you're smart there. Will Levis to Calvin Ridley could be an issue for the Jags secondary all day long. So I guess just put me on the board for that. Whatever.
Drake May to Calvin Ridley would have fed families in New England. Moving on. Bahuki, go for it.
Yeah, I don't like either of these teams. I somehow dislike the Titans more than I dislike the Jags. And I don't know. I feel like the Jags at least showed some level of heart last week compared to the Titans. And that's the direction I'm going to go, even with Mac Jones in the pocket. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is probably the best player on this offense. And I'm gonna go with him as my stud of this game to make some crazy plays against a mediocre at best team, to put it lightly. And I'm gonna go with Tank Bigsby to get the anytime touchdown here. I am not buying any sort of ETN stocks at this moment.
ETN's rushing line for this game is going to be like 26.5 yards over under, and I'm going to smash the under on it.
Yeah, Lamb's talking about this being like an ETN resurgence game. I think this is more likely a Bigsby like putting his foot down game. That's what I'm seeing.
It very well could be. I'm saying like this is like he needs this to be that type of game for him, or else he's not going to be in a great position.
Yeah, that's very true. He needs to figure something out.
Yeah, because it's not working for him right now. Raiders, Bucks, lead us in, Bahuki.
Raiders and Bucks. This is one of those games that I think is going to be sneaky good. Might not jump off of like the slate, like when you're looking at it, but this Raiders team, not great, but they play hard for Alec Pierce. If nothing else, you can say that they come out ready to play. And the Bucks are in must-win mode for the rest of the season. I am going to go with the Bucks to win. I'm going to go with the Raiders to make this an uncomfortable win for the Bucks, and cover the 6.5. Bucky Irving is my stud of the game. Good God, if we didn't have so many crazy performances for this guy, could be honorable mention, certified sicko of the week after what he did last week. And Mike Evans, the timeless wonder, still got it. Still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. First ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to remind people why with a late touchdown to win this game.
He's him. Always has been. Always was.
Nolan, go for it.
What kind of games to do?
I'm going Bucks in this one. Raiders to cover as well. This is going to be a field goal game. I can feel it in my bones. Baker Mayfield is going to be my stud. I know they talked about he was on the injury report early in the week, but I think he'll be fine. And then I do have Bucky Irving for my anytime. This kid is really, really impressing, even with the presence of Rachaad White and Sean Tucker, here and there. He's continuing to be productive. So I'll go for anytime for Bucky.
Yeah, I just know John Gruden.
His ball carrier vision is out of line. So, sorry, Louis.
No, you're good.
We do that sometimes. Just like his ball carrier vision is just like insane. Like he just takes it from one side of the field and sees something and then cuts immediately across.
Why do I feel like John Gruden has like a big head cutout of Bucky Irving in the walk-in studio, and he gives him like a knuckle touch when he comes in, and he's like, "Good game, Bucky."
Anyway, knock on wood if you're with me, Bucky.
I love that. I love that imagery. I love all of that.
Bucky Irvin's got me feeling nicey. I'm gonna take Bucks here. Bucks to win. Bucks to cover. I've got Evans having another good game. I think he wants that 1,000-yard season, and I think this is a secondary he can do well against. He's lost a step a little bit. I don't think we talk enough about. He just looks a little slower this year. He's having some trouble on like the go routes that he used to make a lot of yards on, but I still think he's got enough for them. And then I'm taking Jacoby Myers as a touchdown scorer in this game.
Yeah, so I see you rubbernecking me over here on the Jacoby Myers pick. Huh?
Sorry. He did have I filled the sheet out just
it's okay. It's okay. I'll change it. It's okay. So yeah, I'm gonna take Bucks to win, Bucks to cover here. I do think Brock Bowers is the player of the game just because of the way that I think I forget who the new offensive coordinator is. I know it's some sort of nepotism hire, but he's playing pretty well. Or he's calling game very, very well. I mean, Brock Bowers giving him 15 targets a week. That's your best player. You probably should design your offense around him, and they've been doing that. So, and I put Trey Tucker to score a touchdown. He just adds he's like their burner. He's kind of their downfield field stretcher, and the Bucs secondary is banged up, and you can get behind them. I'm gonna lead us to Saints Giants, right?
Yeah, Saints Giants.
All right, word. I just forgot if somebody else had to go. I'm going to take the Saints here. Saints to win and cover. The Giants just aren't going to win any more games this year, and they're probably not going to cover any more games this year. But that's not to mean that this won't be like a somewhat tight game. I just think that the Saints will beat them by a touchdown. Derek Carr is just too good against a defense who's just not really interested in playing right now. Then I have Tyrone Tracy scoring because him and Malik Neighbors are the only fun parts about this team. And Theo Johnson, too. I'll give Theo Johnson some love, too.
I think he's on the IR now.
Really? That sucks. Because I really liked their draft class. I thought they did a pretty decent job with it. And a lot of those players have played well.
I'm sure Theo Johnson's on IR now.
All right. Well, Louis, you want to go next?
I'm taking Saints to win. I am taking Giants to cover. I just feel like this is going to be a low-scoring affair, but I agree that their outlook's not great. I've got Malik Neighbors as my player of the game, and then Alvin Kamara as my anytime touchdown scorer.
Word. Nolan, go for it.
Yeah, Saints to win, Giants to cover here as well. I think 5 might be a little steep even this late in the year for them. I put MVS, I guess, for stud. I guess if he gets that attitude, like somebody has to. I don't know. If he gets open downfield and they hit him for deep bombs, then sure. And then
Derek Carr's favorite ball to throw.
I want to be like, you know who's not going to have a good game? I'll sometimes that's easier to list. Like Giants right tackle gonna have a bad game.
maybe we add that to the show next year. Maybe we just do like a pissy pants player of the week for each game too, or prediction. I don't know. We'll see.
And Kamara for my anytime. Just play it safe here.
Yeah, that's about as vanilla as it gets. Go for it, Bahuki.
Yeah, no faith in the Giants here. Not that the Saints are that much better here, but I'm going Saints to win, Saints to cover. Yeah, Alvin Kamara started the game, and unfortunate news for Taysom Hill with a torn ACL. Out for the season. One of the premier red zone threats in the NFL is someone else going to have to rise from the ashes here, and I'm going to go with Juwan Johnson is the most logical red zone threat here.
I'm just going to say, like, is this really the last we see of Taysom Hill? Because he's like 35.
Yeah, he's almost 30. Yeah, he's 35.
And he tore his ACL as a gadget player. Basically, like,
how can you be that athletic coming off a torn ACL? Like, you know, like his whole, like, he's just like a super athlete, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what he built his whole game on, was just, I'm faster than most guys would expect me to be, and I score sometimes because of that. And now tore his ACL, like that's probably curtains. And what a way to go out! Generational run right there. Linsanity to end his career. He's having a good
run. That is wild. Lead us into Jets Dolphins.
All right. I really wanted to pick the Jets here, but I didn't.
Yuck.
Dolphins.
You want to do that?
Just because I don't know. Well, it's fun to see the Dolphins lose, and it would be really funny to see them lose to the Jets.
No, this Jets meltdown's too precious for me.
Yeah,
I
they're
need to
just
bottle it.
so bad
I
right
remember
now.
at the beginning of the season, we did our power rankings, and everybody had the Jets like way up there, and I was like 18.
I thought they were going to contend for this division with Buffalo, and they had like they've lost like the majority of a lot of the games they've been favored in. They've lost. So everyone, the odds makers included, were on that boat. But no, Dolphins to win, Dolphins to cover here. I went with Tyreek is my stud of the game, and Jalen Waddle is my anytime touchdown scorer.
Word, go for it, Nolan.
Dolphins everything here, man. Tua and company are going to want to get a big win. I guess it'd be a big win. Not really, but kind of keep their foot a little bit somewhat in the division. And I think they'll win comfortably here in this one. Tua for stud, and then I have A-Chain for my anytime. Just play it safe. He's a red zone threat, so.
Word, I'll go next. I have Dolphins to win, Dolphins to cover. If you take the Jets in any game moving forward as Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback,
We'll do a wellness check on your home.
yeah, you might have to have your sports card revoked. But so I think that kind of opposite way of you, Bahuki, on the stud and touchdown scorer. Like Tua has not been throwing the ball deep very late. Like recently he's been doing more middle to intermediate short stuff, and Jonnu Smith is quietly like
He's had a good year.
He's like sixth in yards per route run, like in the league, not at tight end, in the league. And like they're using the crap out of him in these like down the seam and in the middle of the field, and then they're just passing the ball to Achane, who's my anytime touchdown scorer. Like they're just getting him the ball in the flat, and like they'll do that like 7 times a game. They'll hit Jonnu like 10 times a game, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle's role have decreased. It's changed a lot, I think, since Tua's returned from this injury. So, Louis, go for it.
Yeah, I'm taking Dolphins all the way. What else would you do? A-Chain is my player of the game. Waddle is my anytime touchdown scorer. And I think this is a game that has Tua throwing up gang signs for all the right reasons, not the wrong reasons.
Oh, no.
Is that too far? Was that one too far?
Not really. Like, yeah, but like I'll
just
allow
like
it.
celebratory signs.
Nolan had to turn his camera off. He had to leave. You made Nolan leave.
It's good. It's
All
good
right.
news for Dolphins fans. I think it's celebratory, not bad.
We don't support gang signage here, by the way. People.
Sorry.
Oh,
It's been a
jeez.
long week.
We were so
got your
close.
clip, bro.
Matt.
I
We were
got
so
your clip
close.
in.
We were so close.
I'm gonna take first move us into Seahawks Cardinals here. I'm gonna take.
What if it's like eating W's? We should. All
I'm gonna,
right, I digress. Get back on track.
I'm gonna take
Damn it, Lukey.
I'm gonna take the Seahawks flat here. I'm gonna take JSN as my player of the game, and I'm gonna take Kenneth Walker as my anytime touchdown scorer.
Word. Can you? Yeah, I was just about to say. I used the sheet to record
Yeah,
everything.
I'm filling it in. I'm filling it in.
So I'm taking the Seahawks to win, Seahawks to cover here. Beginning of the season, I was very hesitant on this team. They've proven a lot of things to me. I think this defense is playing really, really well. They've finally like bought into their new head coach's scheme. I'm forgetting their name at the moment, but I think DK is going to have like a bounce back big game, and Trey McBride's going to get into the end zone. Homie's been doing everything but getting in the end zone. Like he is a really, really underrated player. I think like guy reminds me a lot of George Kittle. I like a lot of George Kittle. But yeah, so I'm taking the Seahawks to sweep the season series here and move forward in this division as its leader. Nolan, how about you, buddy?
I'm in the same boat. Seahawks everything here. They want a big win, and I'm gonna follow the Bahuki method. Don't take the Cardinals if they are the favorite, and go against it because death taxes and Bahuki Cardinal picks, man. So I'll ride with it, and I'll take Geno for stud, and then Kenneth Walker for any time, just getting in the red zone, ground and pound. Right.
Bahuki hit the game and then move us into Bills Mafia.
That was a proper stray right there, Nolan. That was that was a good one. I just have to laugh. No, I can appreciate a good one.
Bahuki's gonna be sitting in bed thinking about that later.
Well, guess what? I'm taking the Cardinals. Surprise! For me, this comes to like what I've seen from like when the Bills played these teams. I don't go out of my way to watch that much of these teams. And when I saw the Bills go into Seattle and beat the absolute brakes off of Seattle, I had a real hard time buying into them as a good team. They put together a handful of good performances here, and you know what? In spite of the fact that the Cardinals lost last week, they looked pretty impressive. I still can't believe that they lost. I was feeling pretty good about that pick up until the very end there. And, well, damn it, I might be wrong the same way twice. But, yeah, Cardinals to win, Cardinals to cover here. Trey McBride is my stud of the game, but not as my anytime touchdown scorer because that's not a thing that he's been doing this year. But we're going to go with James Conner, the pretty safe pick. The guy is still got it.
All right, lead us to the Bills Rams, bro.
All right, another surprise pick here for Bahuki. We're going with the Bills. Yeah,
shocker.
Yeah,
shocker.
Yeah. Last time we went out to play the Rams was a couple years ago after they had won a Super Bowl, and we beat the brakes off of them.
It was the first week of the season.
Mm-hmm. And they were supposed to be a much better team then. I don't know. Maybe they're a little bit more balanced now. I don't know. This Rams team they're just a weird team, and I don't know exactly what I'm getting from them. But the last few weeks, 7 in a row, we've won, and we've looked pretty consistent doing it. Winning close ones, winning by a lot. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable taking the Bills here. Josh Allen is the MVP, but we don't need him to be the MVP every week. I'm going with James Cook as my stud of the game. I want us to keep ground and pounding it. Let these running backs continue to emerge going into the late season. And Mac Hollins is my anytime touchdown scorer. This guy has been really one of Josh's most reliable targets, especially in the red zone. He's really emerged. And preseason, we talked about like who some of our like underrated signings were, and Mac Hollins was one of the guys who I pointed out back then, and he really has been. He's one of the best fourth receivers in the NFL.
And I think he'd play better without shoes on, if I'm being honest. Like, we've only sampled his greatness on a football field because we force him to wear cleats.
Just a sliver. Just a sliver. That's it. Nolan, how about you rip this up?
Bills everything, man. Josh Allen for stud, Amari Cooper for any time. I think Amari wants his get back.
He is owed one for sure.
So he wants to get one back here, and I'll take him for anytime.
Go for it, Louis.
I'm Bills all the way and to cover. I've got Shakira scoring or having a really good game here. I think Khalil's due for a good one, but I'm going to take Puka as my almost guaranteed end zone connection here.
You did it to me again, dude. I should just go first next time.
I'm going to take Cooper Kupp as my anytime touchdown scorer.
That's much better. Thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to take DeMarcus Robinson now anyway. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to take Puka. I think Josh Allen's going to freaking dominate this game because he dominates every game because that's what he does because he is a what do you call it? What do you guys call it? I think he called
Certified Sicko of the Week.
Yeah, that guy is the sicko. And then I am going to take the Rams to cover here, though, because Matt Stafford's been playing pretty damn well since he's had his receivers back. This game just feels like a field goal game to me. It was like a tight one. McVay's a really good coach, and I just think that this could be a closer one than people think.
Let's rip them quick.
I'm taking the Bears here to win. Bears to cover +4. I think the Niners are imploding. Mason was talking about like how like this might be the end of the Shanahan era. They were talking about how Kittle and Warner weren't like sticking up for Shanahan anymore. They're like there's public discourse in this team right now, and I do not think the vibes are great. And since the Bears fired Eberflus, they've played pretty respectable ball. So yeah, give me them to win, them to cover. Caleb Williams as the player of the game. He's looked like the player that we thought since Thomas Brown's taken over play calling duties, and then DJ Moore also touchdown scorer because he's been hot since this change as well. I think this whole offense kind of you're like, oh, we don't have retards in front of our like calling our game plans doing this for us. So like now we kind of look like a functional offense. Dude, the Patriots, you only scored 3 points against the Patriots. We made you guys look silly. That's not what you want. You should probably go home and call it a season. Somebody else go.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bears as well. Bears to win, Bears to cover. The Niners have lost almost every game they've been favored in this season, and I think that trend continues. It's a downhill slope for the West Coast gang. I'm going to take Caleb Williams as – oh, no, that was yours. I'm taking DJ Moore as my player of the game. I think
now we know how we get this picks.
I've just been reading yours. Ward is my he's going to be lined up a lot on DJ Ward. He's obviously had some personal issues. I think their safety play's been lacking. So I'm going to take him. And then I'm taking Cole Kmet as my touchdown scorer.
I like that. Pookie, go for it.
You like it? Well, you can't have it. I already took it.
I know. It's okay. I took a better one. Go for it.
Yeah, this is another game where I don't like either of these teams, and it's about picking the lesser of two evils. And you were talking about the end of the Shanahan era. Well, it's the end of the Eberflus era here too. And
never should have been an Eberflus era.
There never should have been.
Never should have been one.
Well, yeah,
put that on a T-shirt.
I think that both of these teams are coming off of pretty embarrassing losses here, and I think the Niners have more pedigree in spite of that. I think Trent Williams is going to be coming back. It came out today or yesterday. I think that his family had lost a child that was stillborn, and I think that had a lot to do with why he was out. RIP. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. That's like the worst thing in the world. And I think this guy's going to come out, and I would not want to be the guy lined up against him. So I think this.
I don't think I'd ever want to be the guy lined up against him.
But especially with him returning after something like that. Yeah, I think he's going to have a therapy session with whoever is across from him. Sorry if that's a little messed up. This is football.
No. I know. You're probably right.
And I think Brock Purdy is going to come back and play a better game. And yeah, Isaac Guerrero is the guy at running back. He's going to be the top waiver ad this season. Could be a good tool for fantasy playoffs. So I got him as my anytime touchdown scorer.
All right, run us into Chargers Chiefs.
Here, let me do 49ers real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
You're good, and then I'll run us into Chargers Chiefs. 49ers everything here. I think they want a bounce back game really, really badly, despite all the discourse going on. Brock Purdy for stud, Kittle for any time. Hit him in the red zone. He's your guy. It's not Debo. McCaffrey's out. Mason's out. Go for your guy. Get Kittle in the end zone. All right, Chargers Chiefs. Chiefs everything here. If this was in LA, I would have taken Chargers for the cover. I think Chiefs are going to cover here. Mahomes, voice crack. Mahomes for stud. Mahomes for stud.
He's a little nervous.
And, yeah, I'm a little nervy here. Pacheco for any time, man. They kind of eased him back into the process last week, and that was fine and dandy. You still have Kareem Hunt that you can use. Get him going this week. Use him in the red zone, and I think Pacheco could get it done.
All right, go for a Boogie.
Yeah, Pacheco being back is like one of the things that made me a little hesitant here. This is another one of those hopeful picks where I really want the Chiefs to lose a game so the Bills can be the 1 seed. I will be very honest about that. But I also think that this is a chance where it could happen. This Chargers team is formidable. In spite of like they have guys in and out, but Jim Harbaugh's got a real heck of a system here. And I think this is like a team that's like built to travel. I think they're going to be most likely they're going to be a wild card team. And I think they're built to be like a dangerous wild card team. Chiefs divisional games have been close. Give me the Chargers here to pull it off. So that means Chargers covering as well. Justin Herbert is gonna have to play his ass off in order for that to happen. And Gus Edwards is the vanilla anytime touchdown scorer.
Word. I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win here. I am gonna take the Chargers to cover. I think this is a field goal game. Whenever you have Justin Herbert on your team, I feel like you never should be counted out. But like that thought process has been diluted from years of him just having bonehead coaches just doing dumb things around him constantly. And that stuff is finally eroding, and we're seeing Justin Herbert play football. I feel like it's like new vision on him. So I do think the Chiefs are going to win because, again, horseshoe. Chargers will cover. D-Hop's going to have a really good game here. I just think that this is like a savvy vet type of game, divisional matchup. He's kind of the new piece in this matchup, too. Like, they played once with him on the roster. I mean, was he on the roster when they played last? I'm not even sure.
I think he was.
So, yeah, this would be the first time facing him. It's a little bit of a different look. And, yeah, I think Kelsey gets in the end zone. He's been a little bit dry with touchdowns this year, so I think he finds pay dirt against the Chargers. Louis, hit it and then lead us in the Bengals-Cowboys.
So I'm doing a full Chargers sweep because I feel like it. So Chargers win, Chargers cover.
Love it.
And you want to know, Justin Herbert is my anytime touchdown scorer. And you want to know who my sicko of the game is?
I would love to.
Catching every pass, please give him all the money. Defense don't know where to go, can't do it alone. They've tried, and they don't know why.
Glad the Patriots could have had
It's been stuck in your head. It's been stuck in mine for like 2 weeks. I've been saving it.
The Pats could have drafted him, and instead they moved back and took Jalen Polk. How sick does that make me feel? Like, so good.
Moving into Bengals, Cowboys, Monday night, a banger. Cowboys fans, you finally get to put up some points because the Bengals aren't even fielding a defense anymore. I'm going Bengals, though. I think Joe Burrow is just going to be this is a freaking Super Saiyan 3 for him. He is going to go beyond. And I would not want to be on the other end of whatever's going to happen on Monday night, okay?
No eyebrows.
Yeah, he's going to die stuff you can't see and then just come out swinging. So T. Higgins, I think, is going to be his go-to player on this game because he's not going to be matched up with Trayvon Diggs. And then I've got Chase Brown as my anytime touchdown scorer. You just put Chase on yours, so I didn't know if it was Chase Brown or Jamar Chase, so I went Chase Brown. So hopefully
it's Chase.
Okay.
Chase. Both of them are going to score. Both Chases. It's a Chase game. So yeah, I'm taking the Bengals to win, Bengals to cover. Love the Super Saiyan 3 reference. I'll push that even farther. I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase will probably turn to like Vegito or something and really go just pound town on this Cowboys team, who feels good about themselves for beating up Drew Lock and the impotent Giants team on Thanksgiving yet again. They're not going to feel good about themselves after they get this ass whooping from Joe Burrow and the Bengals. So yeah, Joe Burrow's my stud of the game.
They're like reverse Super Saiyan in the fact that you look pretty strong. They're like, you look pretty weak.
No, they're
like Yamcha.
They're just Krillin. That's what they are. They're Yamcha. They're Yamcha. At least Krillin can fight. Krillin like holds up like now.
He's at least got the Destructo disc, you know. Like,
yeah. Yamcha's just not even fighting anymore. Homie said, I'm going to take a pass on this. Thanks. And with that, I think Bahuki has to go. Was going to cut the show off early. Didn't do it.
Titan, but it's
this is the perfect last segment to annoy Nolan.
I'm really sorry, Nolan. I tried, but I'm not counting.
There's 2 weeks in a row of an hour and a half, but there's 124 people watching. So shout out to all 125 of you.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. Like
it's all good. It's all good. We got to get it done. It's all good. Go, Baruchi.
Yeah, Bengals to win, Bengals to cover. Joe Ultra Instinct Burrow as my stud of the game, and Jamar Ultra Ego Chase as my anytime
Love
touchdown
this.
scorer.
I love this conversation. It's made me very happy.
Louis started that.
He did.
Well, what better way to close it out than for me to go Cowboys everything? Rico Dowdle for stud, Luke Schoonmaker for any time, because fuck it. Why not?
You like
done
Frieza.
I'm
like
done looking
Frieza.
at you.
No one said
I'm
good
done
show.
looking
boys.
at you.
Need to go talk.
Kill Kill it.
All right. Check out Stadium Rant at stadiumrant.com.